If you will not listen to godly counsel from men, you have cut yourself off from God's ability to speak to you. And this is what is responsible for the confusion that many Christians are experiencing today in their journey. You don't know what to do. You pray, you fast, you hold vigils, you climb mountains, you spelunk. Now you can do all of that. But let me tell you, it may be that you have resisted godly rebuke in the journey of life, and by so doing, you have disconnected yourself from God's counsel, and that is the reason why your life is the way it is. And you keep crying out to God for help. You keep praying to God and say, God, speak to me. Olúwa, bá mi sọ̀rọ̀, and God is not saying anything to you. Let me give you a case in point. King Saul, the very first king in the land of Israel, and then came that he found himself at war with the Philistines, so he sought God's face about what to do. Because in the Old Testament, the only three categories of people carried the oil upon their head: the kings and the priests and the prophets. They were the only people who had the capacity to hear God for themselves. And so the Philistines, the enemies of their soul, came to wage war against Israel. And Saul, as the king of the land, needed to seek the face of God to know, Lord, what shall we do? Should we mount a frontal assault? Should we go and set up a rear guard behind them? What should we do? And listen to what the Bible says in 1 Samuel chapter 28 verses 5 and 6. The Bible says, and when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophet. For this to have happened, it means that it lasted for days, because he tried to sleep, to see where God didn't speak to him. Then he summoned the priest, that is Urim. He summoned the priest. There is something that the priests of the Old Testament used to carry in their garments, called the Urim and the Thummim. In Deuteronomy chapter 33, when Moses was blessing the tribe of Levi, he said, may your Urim and your Thummim never depart from him. The Urim and the Thummim were used to discern the will of God. We don't know specifically today how exactly the Urim and the Thummim operated, but we know that if everybody was confused and they didn't know what to do, the priest would just bring out the Urim, bring out the Thummim, put them before him and say, thus saith the Lord. They will know what to do. And the Lord did not speak through the Urim. So the Lord did not answer him by dreams. The Lord did not answer him by Urim, by the priest. The Lord did not answer him by prophets. And so when Saul could not hear from God, what did he do? Verse 7. Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. If you call yourself a Christian and you still seek people like that, you are no different from Saul here. If you are like this, you are seeking somebody to lead for you. You are not behaving like a blood-bought New Testament believer who has access to the throne of grace. Let us therefore boldly come to the throne of grace, that we will obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Hebrews 4:16. You are not behaving like a proper believer. You are behaving like this. And why? Why do we so-called Christians resort to things like this today? Why do we run after bodies and seers? Against the correction of God. What made God turn his heart against Saul? What made God turn a deaf ear to Saul's prayer? 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 26. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel. Now let me call your attention to something. The word of the Lord, this word of the Lord that Samuel said that Saul rejected, do you know that it was not something that God spoke directly unto Saul? It was an instruction that Samuel gave Saul. But because Samuel was his prophet, Samuel was pastor. Samuel was his spiritual head. He told him what to do in a particular situation. But because Saul rejected godly human counsel, he disconnected himself from ever being able to hear God again. And look at what happened even after he sought the witch of Endor. 1 Samuel chapter 28 verses 18 and 19. This was the sentence that God now passed over the life of Saul in that battle with the Philistines. Because you did not obey the voice of the Lord, nor execute his fierce wrath upon Amalek, therefore the Lord has done this thing to you today. The Lord has forsaken you. Now verse 29. Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with you into the hand of the Philistines. And tomorrow, you and your sons will be with me. The Lord will also deliver the army of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. What caused all of these tragic incidents to happen? A man turned his ear against divine rebuke and correction. Listen, some of us need to retrace our steps. Who did God send into your life to reprove you? And you got offended in your heart, and you disconnected your heart from divine correction. Your life, if you don't make a U-turn, that life will go wrong very soon. It may not just be your pastor, because pastors are not the only voices of alignment in our lives. God can send your parents, whether your spiritual parents or even your biological parents who are believers. God can send them as voices of alignment to you. Your spouse may be a voice of alignment. I'm going to send it to you. And I usually say this to people around me, and please take it with all seriousness. If there's anything you are planning to do or you are thinking of doing, you believe God has spoken to you, and you now discuss it with your spouse, and your spouse says, I don't think we should do it, please stop. Go and pray again. I'm serious. Whoever it is that God has sent to give you instructions, to give you correction, and you have turned your heart away from them, I want to beseech you this morning, please come back and embrace correction. Because if you don't, the Lord himself will turn away from you.